Hi there, and thank you so much for joining this week's episode of Wind Down Wednesday. Today we are going to talk about referrals and how referrals feed into your overall business development plan and your business development strategy. So referrals, as one may call or know it, is a little bit more than what comes to mind when you think of the word referrals and what it means. In the legal business development space, referrals is a two-way street. So this is not only about referrals that you receive in or referrals that you send out, but instead it's both. It's you sending referrals out to contacts and people that you've built relationships with, and then for those individuals and others to send those types of referrals to you. And one very, very nifty tip and bit of advice that I like to give attorneys on this is that you should perhaps build out a system, a referral system, instead of just kind of leaving it up to like chance or, kind of like whenever it happens and however it happens. Instead, looking at this as a system that you actually intentionally build, that you actually put effort behind, is one that's going to work for you and work for you over time. And it's going to work in this two-way type method that I described earlier. And here's how that works. So of course we know people in our industry that perhaps may want to take larger of a certain type of cases or smaller, right? And typically attorneys are either on one end of the spectrum. Of course, you find some that will take just whatever is in there. But, deciding factors determine whether or not an attorney is going to take a big case or a smaller case. Like, do they have manpower? Do they have the capital? All those types of things go into play. And of course, this depends on what type of case it is. But let's just say hypothetically that you have an attorney that does larger types of DUI cases, and then you have other attorneys that do smaller, more like one-off type cases that don't require way too much that goes into kind of representing their client, right? So those are both ends of the spectrum for a DUI, right? So you have one attorney picking one end and one attorney picking the other end. But instead, let's mix things up a bit, right? And let's talk about what the system could look like if you look beyond that. So if I'm a personal injury attorney, right, and I have another personal injury firm that I send larger cases to, I take the smaller ones. I send the larger ones that, perhaps need a little bit more resources, time, and manpower to, for example, John. And I keep the smaller ones, right? So now I have the exact exchange and types of cases, just size being the difference between the two, and manpower and resources needed, right? So kind of have the personal injury type cases covered. Now, it doesn't stop there. What I now need to do is to go out and look for a trust attorney that I can send trust referrals to. In building this relationship and building this referral system, I'm now gonna, if I don't already know one, build a relationship and get to an understanding of what this particular attorney wants in cases that are referred to him or her as they relate to trust type cases, right? And it might be that they only do a select piece of trust work. And then you might find a second one that does another piece of trust work, right? So now, and again, you have differing attorneys across the spectrum within the same practice area. So now I've built this relationship with this trust attorney, and this trust attorney is now happy that I have agreed to send cases to him or her. And now that I've built that relationship of stuff going out, I can now build a relationship for things that come into me as, a DUI attorney or a personal injury attorney, whatever attorney I am. So that attorney now knows the types of cases that I want them to send to me, right? So now we have that relationship. So that's one part of the system. The next part is now I'm going to go out and I'm going to look for a bankruptcy attorney, because now I need to build a relationship with a bankruptcy attorney that's going to do the same thing, where we exchange referrals back and forth. I send things to him or her, and she or he sends stuff to me that match what I'm looking for. And you just do this over and over for the different practice groups that are out there. You build these relationships, and they could be completely cold calls, people that you reach out to. Perhaps it might be a new attorney, or it might be one that's new in your geographical location. Perhaps they just opened a shop in your city. Reach out to them, connect, let them know who you are, find out what they're looking for, let them know what you're looking for, and you've built a relationship. If you continue to rinse and repeat this very simple method of building out a referral system, before you know it, you're going to have what I like to call a spider web of referral sources, right? So you have all these referrals that are coming to you from these different connections and relationships that you have. So my advice is, like I said, build a system. Never ever underestimate a referral system that's put in place. It does not cost much, if anything at all, for you to set these up. Perhaps some meetings that you might have may be over coffee or over a meal, and some can even be virtual. But I do feel that this is a great investment for you to invest into your business. The price to pay might only be some time just to get these referral systems in place, and for you to have a constant flow of work that's coming to you, and of course in return you're referring work out to the contacts that you've met. I hope that this video is very helpful to you in building out your referral system. I would love to hear your thoughts. Put them down in the comments, or of course send them directly to me. Email address is antonia@strategyacademy.us. Again, thank you so much for joining us on this Wind Down Wednesday, and I hope that you enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.